I think we're going to officially start
Yep.
in 3, 2, 1. And we're ready. MercyMe.
There they are. Well, the question, first of all, is thank you guys so much for being here. What did Robbie do that he's in timeout by himself?
He wouldn't
live in
move,
Dallas.
wouldn't move to
That'll do
Tennessee.
Well, I know that you guys have so much to share and so much to tell. And so the first thing I want to do is ask about your digs, though, because like we're sitting here in a studio with painted carpet walls and you all have a much nicer setup. Is this when you've made it? Like, is that what it looks like when you finally make the big time?
It looks like y'all are being interrogated or something. Seriously.
Honestly, that adds up.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure out
Where
what that
were
fox
you
said.
on the night of the 4th? We're in our cabin that we bought, gosh, I think the late 18, early 19, something like that. And and so started the process of turning into a studio, which we finished in time for the pandemic. And so it's been our probably, I could safe to say, our favorite place on the planet to be, other than home, obviously. But
have you
our
left
wives
since
sometimes
2019?
like us to go to other favorite places. What's that?
Have you left since 2019? Are you still there?
No, we're almost out of food, but we're doing okay. Yes, all right.
Robbie, send him a care package, man.
Yeah, I sent a water truck up, but
There we
go. That's fantastic. Do you guys rent it out Airbnb style so other people can come in and record stuff, or no?
No, we don't. No, we don't rent it. We thought one day we may have to, but we don't now. So like, we let our friends have it if they need it. Like Need to Breathe rehearsed up here. Several people have recorded, but
nice.
Yeah, we don't rent it out yet, just because it's. I don't know. We're just really grateful for it and want it to be used whenever way it can.
What does it take to become a friend?
What's that?
What does it take to become a friend?
Chad is testing the waters. He wants to use and abuse your cabin.
I'm just curious.
Sadly, we just have to have like. As long as we've met you, we've had people call. We're like, we don't even know who you are, dude. Like, well, my cousin's cousin was in a band that opened. It's like, nah.
I thought for a minute, since you had mentioned Need to Breathe, we were going to do a new segment like name dropping with MercyMe. So we could just keep it rolling.
Yeah, that's true. We should.
I know Bart Millard. That's pretty cool.
There we go.
Right,
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the real reason that we're speaking to you and you're speaking to us over the interwebs is because of a big thing that's happening for you guys. You're releasing your, is it 48th album?
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Feels like
47.
47th, one off.
You're so wrong.
I was never good at Prices Right, so.
Yeah, we're releasing. I really don't know what album number it is. I should, but no, I shouldn't. I have too much time.
I counted earlier. I think it's number 18.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Guys.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it was this one snuck up on us because we, during the pandemic, when we were working on Inhale XL, we ended up writing, we were closing on what the album was going to be. And then the pandemic hit. And since we weren't touring, they weren't going to release any albums. So we spent another year or so, wrote about, 30 or 40 songs. Wow. And, figured out which 16 were going to be on that album. And then we were like, man, what do we do with the rest of this? And so originally this was going to be like a 5-song EP of like some of those songs that were left over. And the more we worked at it, the more it went from 5 to 6 to 7 and it ended up becoming a full 10-song album. And yeah, I say it snuck up on us because, there wasn't a lot of, it was just we were just kind of doing it whenever we could. And there wasn't really a big, marketing plan or anything as far as we were concerned or, any of that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden we're sitting on an album and it was like, man, this feels really, really good. And it's kind of, people ask, what the theme of it is or whatever. And the album's titled Always Only Jesus. And somehow during the pandemic on the last album, when we got off tour and, like everybody did when it hit, everybody went to social media to stay in touch with their fans. And so we started hearing everybody was doing these gut wrenching emotional performances over and like so many a day. It's like, I say it's like watching a Notebook like 20 times a day. It's like, I was tired of crying and everything. And so we just kind of got to the point where like, man, we just want people to smile and dance and be reminded of some kind of joy. And And so we got more interested in singing with Gloria Gaynor than writing like another Even If or whatever. And so that's kind of what that album is about, is just to hope we put a smile on people's face. And when we were done, the songs we pulled off, a lot of these songs are I mean, just as worship as you can get, similar to kind of MercyMe over the years, like God with Us, all of creation, stuff like that. And we realized, man, all these songs are pointing the same direction to Jesus. And man, I think coming out of the pandemic, and there's so much, I think, division within the body of Christ, that a lot of things have been said during that time. And you kind of see some people trying to walk it back and everything. And man, it's how do we approach this? Do we approach it trying to justify where we stand in all this? And does that heal anything or make it worse? Or do we just try to find something we all have in common? And that's the fact that, Lord, help us that hopefully we still all love Jesus and are doing this for Jesus. And so we thought, man, that's where we need to be. It needs to be only about him. So it's turned out to be a really, really important record for us. And we love how it turned out.
That's pretty cool. I love how it started as something small, but really just kept growing. Do you each have a song that is maybe not your favorite, because we don't pick favorites, but hits you a little
They're not
special?
children. They can be favorites. It's okay.
Yeah,
They're
the
all
worst
beautiful.
song on the
I'm sure
album?
they're all great.
Favorite song on the new album?
Yeah.
Have y'all heard it?
Oh, wait.
I heard it a couple
What record are we talking about?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with title track, Always Only Jesus.
Love that. Mm-hmm.
Forgivable for me. I just think it's a good message for the season that our country and our world is in.
Mm-hmm.
Always canceling people. Maybe we should do some forgiveness from time to time.
Preach. Love that.
Yeah, I like that one.
There's a song called My Heart Beats for Your Good. And I don't know what it is about that song, but it wrecks me every time I hear it. It was our good buddy Tim Timmons and Sam, right? Mm-hmm. Bart's son Sam started writing it a while back, and they let us finish it, and it's a really special song for me.
I'm glad you said they let you finish it, because I'm like, dude, you stole your kid's song? Like, honestly, I know the pandemic was tough on people, but
if we're being
Wouldn't be the
honest,
first time.
I've been rent-free for 20 years. It's fine.
Yeah, I have a larger plan. I'm stealing him so that he can get paid royalties and move out of my house.
There we
I was
go.
gonna say, is it really stealing if he's under your house, under
I'm
your roof,
helping. I'm
and
not stealing. I'm helping.
There we go.
you're just getting him to pay back some of that rent.
There you
know
go.
what I mean?
I'm like, don't think of it as daddy taking your song. Think of it as you getting a MercyMe cut,
yeah, right.
Genius.
and you're grounded. No, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna try and use that with my kids. They get a MercyMe cut.
There you go.
So how do you guys celebrate? 18 albums. How do you celebrate when an album comes out? Is it like a regular Tuesday for you guys, where you're just like, that's what we're doing?
No, I think we kind of force our label to take us to a really nice steakhouse.
There you go.
What we did the last 2 or 3 records. It's like,
Okay.
we'll just start a text thread with our label president on it going, are we hitting Perry's on Tuesday? And Jeff's like, oh, yeah, I'm in. Like, he's like, he knows he's fitting the bill. But yeah, we've done that last couple of records, and it's one of the traditions I really enjoy, because I do like steak.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Preach.
The current single that is out and the River's been playing now for a little while is Then Christ Came, which is such a powerful song. We talk all the time on the River about those 180-degree stories where you're going one way, and then God enters the scene and things go the other way. So I don't know who wants to take this question. Maybe none of you, but what were you before that? What were you before Christ came? To hear your story. Everybody loves MercyMe. We'll let you in our ears and our hearts. So we've all got that before and after. What was the before?
Man, before I was 13 when I came to know Jesus, so I'm pretty sure I was pretty annoying before and during. Yeah, I just I remember being in a church camp and just as much as I could comprehend as a 13-year-old that something was missing, and just I think that's a big time in your life when you're not sure who in the world you are, becoming a teenager, and just fell in love with Jesus. And I know sometimes it sounds shocking, but now I'm about to be 50, it's like I've seen a lot of people kind of deconstruct their faith and stuff like that. And I think the part that I never knew I'd be most proud of is the fact that we all still love Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, I guess that's a challenge for some people. I don't know, but it's something that's been very real in my life, and just lost without it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about that 180. It's like we call it the breath of heaven effect. If you know that Christmas song of Amy's,
Yeah.
when it gets to breath of heaven, the whole thing resolves, and it's like this breath of fresh air, no pun intended. And that is kind of like that idea. In fact, that may have been where I got the idea of like, man, it's like Jesus steps in and everything changes. And I love that concept musically and everything of just having that moment to where it's like a release of like, he walks in and everything changes, and just fell in love with the idea. And yeah, it's a really special. I'd say that's probably right now my favorite song on the album too, I guess. Yeah.
When you talk about a MercyMe cut, I guess Amy needs one now too.
Yes. True.
Yeah, it's getting pretty tight over there.
Yeah.
Right.
Hard Vince.
Hard Vince, they're struggling.
You can help a lot.
They're on our prayer list for
Just the cost of a cup of coffee a day.
Pretty soon we're gonna have a Sarah McLachlan infomercial with them just shivering. That's the one. That's the one.
This is retirement. This is the plan right here.
just a slow zoom in of Vince Gill.
That's amazing. It's interesting. You talk about, the deconstructing that a lot of people do, and a lot of people have done over the last several years, deconstructing their faith. I think there was a moment for me in my life where it was like, do I need to question the way I was raised? And the more I thought about, the deconstructing process, is I always wanted to target things the way I was treated by other people, not by Jesus, not by the gospel. It was my experiences in a church or with an individual or with a group. It was never Jesus. It was never the gospel. I couldn't pick that apart. And so the things that I wanted to deconstruct, if that's the word, I wanted to be a part of impacting those around me in my life, and people that have shown me so much grace. That's what I wanted to be for other people. I didn't want to just take apart the best gift I've ever been given. Right. And so I'm encouraged to hear you guys say that. Not that we were looking for that, but it's really easy for us in this culture to say we can deconstruct it because people were bad. People have always been bad, and God has always been good.
Yeah. And I think it's a pretty trendy word. I think if we're honest, we've all tried to deconstruct this thing. Like I'd be lying if I didn't say I tried to throw rocks and kick the foundation of this thing to make sure it's going to stand and try to pick it apart. And, my pastor growing up was like, truth is truth, man, knock yourself out. Like, and I think they're asking a lot of questions that every single one of us has probably asked on a daily basis, but they just now have a social media account. And like why bad things happen to good people. I've asked that for 50 years. Yeah. And if you want to call that deconstructing, but it's like, man, we've kicked the tires plenty of times and realized, man, this thing is solid and legit and life-changing.
And two, I think if you're watching this and you're like, oh no, I'm not allowed to have those questions. No, what we're saying is, yes, you are, and keep asking them, because the promise is the more we seek, the more we'll find. Because
the hard part is when it becomes when their MO becomes like, I have officially stepped away or walked away. Yeah. Like, man, you can say that. That's a covenant that's impossible to be broken on God's side. And so I'm like, I just imagine him sitting there going, okay, let's get through this. But you can call it what you want, but as far as Christ in you, man, I think there's a very patient and gracious God that's like, check it out, man, check it out.
It's like when I was 7 years old and I tried to run away and I put a bunch of snacks in my backpack and my mom's like, okay, see you later.
I'm gone.
I'm out of here. I hate your guys.
Yeah.
Why do we all have that
That's
moment?
the driveway. Totally.
He deconstructed his parents in his backyard overnight.
Hannah deconstructs this show every day.
Every day.
She keeps coming back. So.
He's like, okay, see you guys, and leaves.
Well, is there anything else about the album, about what's coming up next for MercyMe that you want us listening, us getting to experience MercyMe through the Mike every day through the radio every day to know?
Great question. Yeah. Well, what are we doing?
We spent all summer. Yeah. We spent all summer finishing the record. So tours in the fall.
Nice.
And yeah, we're looking forward to that.
When does when does the sequel come out? Is it like Still Only Imagining? Is that the name of it?
I am imagining perpetually.
The joke is, I'm okay with this, was Imagine 2, Dad's Not Dead. But,
that was my follow-up question.
Yeah,
if it was
yeah.
going to intersect kind of like the Marvel universe where there's like
yes.
all of
We're just trying to get the
CCM.
Newsboys to write the theme song, and then we're good to go. So,
Hook yourself up
I
with those
love it
guys. There's like
here.
6 of those
Yeah.
films. Yeah.
hey, I need a Dad's Not
It's
Dead.
gonna be more of a comedy, like Weekend at Bernie's style.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, Mark.
Wild.
If that
That'd
doesn't
be
become a
awesome.
music video,
Yeah.
we
yeah.
have failed
Yeah.
in this conversation.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
When did MercyMe's career end? It was on this
Yeah.
date in
Yeah.
this interview.
Yeah. If you listen closely, that's the hand of God leaving the room. Can you hear it?